We're here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. I'm Alex Worley, and this is Business Rockstars. And today I'm joined by Joshua Manley. He is the CEO of ReplyBuy. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
I did.
When did you know?
Well, I think every aspiring entrepreneur finds out when they build their first lemonade stand around 4 to 5 years old. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, a lot do, but or some variation of a lemonade stand.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah. So what was it for you that it clicked in your mind? You know what? I want to be my own boss.
It wasn't necessarily being my own boss. I think it was the realization of the opportunity that we have living in this country, you know, and the opportunity to go out and do something on your own. Right? Mm-hmm. Because you only go around one time. And that's how I've always viewed my career is you can go get a job, you can work in a bunch of different spaces, but I think being an entrepreneur, creating something new is probably one of the most rewarding things you could do, at least in my opinion. So
was the innovation part for you that got you really motivated?
Yeah, and I think, you know, I can't remember exactly what the saying was, but this always stuck with me is no one on their deathbed says, I wish I would have worked harder at that 9 to 5, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by you only go around one time.
Make it count. Make sure you enjoy it and you're passionate about it.
Make sure you're fulfilled. Exactly.
So why ReplyBuy? What made you say, I love this idea and I want this to be my life's work?
Yeah, well, definitely the fact that no one had done it, there had to be an easier way. In my mind, there had to be an easier way to unlock a mobile purchase. The whole world uses SMS or text messaging. A form of messaging. In fact, it's the most widely adopted form of communication in the history of mankind. Why was no one truly combining that in a seamless way with payments on a mobile device?
Yeah, because when it comes to ticket sales for sports, it can be a pain sometimes.
But exactly. I mean, when I really looked at the space and I said, okay, we're going to do something in mobile, we're going to do something in messaging and transactions. Putting those pieces together, there was a ton of existing fragmentation in the market. So iOS versus Android, so you've got challenges there, you've got software challenges. A simple text message, which the whole world uses, comes pre-installed on over 4 billion devices across the planet.
And you were telling me off camera that less people are downloading apps.
There's a shift. There's a shift in consumer behavior, and we're paying close attention to that. That's part of the reason we did not roll our own app. People asked us early on for a long time, well, why aren't you an app? Why aren't you an app? Now it's shifting in the sense that about a third of consumers are downloading one app per month, one new app. Mm-hmm. Most are deleting, removing, or they're not touching their existing apps.
They want to clean up their phone a little bit, but one thing that they're never going to delete is that text messaging app, so you saw an opportunity there.
Correct.
So in addition to liking new ideas and executing them, are you a sports fan?
I'm a huge sports fan.
So
yep.
Was that part of the passion and the motivation behind starting this?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, I love sports. I love the market that we work in. It's fun. We're a mobile payments platform, mm-hmm. but it was an excellent product market fit for what we were introducing. Mm-hmm. So sports, there's clearly a pain point. You know, getting people off the couch, making it easier for them to, you know, go out and see their favorite team and make that commitment and have it happen in real time and give them that instant gratification that I think a lot of people are looking for.
So you were coming from the fan perspective too, which I'm sure really, really helps keep your customers happy because you're one of them.
We're one of them, and that's the consumer side of the business. I mean, the other side of the business is empowering our teams to effectively communicate to their audience and reach their fans in a more meaningful way. So right now they're sending emails, they're tweeting at you, they're doing whatever they can. They're calling you, which no one answers their calls if they don't know the number anymore. Mm-hmm. So helping bridge that gap, that communication gap between the client on the entertainment and team side and the consumers.
Yeah, very interesting. So do you have a typical day? And if so, what does your typical day look like?
That's part of the reason I love my job. I don't think any day's typical.
How many hours do you usually work in one day?
Oh, geez. I don't even know if I want to say on camera.
Your wife is back there, so we'll ask and make sure you're not lying.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. No, I mean, they're long days, but I mean, it's amazing how fast the time goes by. That's the other thing. You know,
when you love what you do.
When you love what you do, and we have a great team. We have a great team of people who are not sitting there, you know, watching the clock counting down. You know, they're about the mission, and they want to see the mission succeed and put in the time and the effort required to do so.
So do you have a tool or secret when it comes to time management and being productive?
Focus on the most relevant issues, right?
So prioritize.
It's prioritization. It's growth, continued growth. If it doesn't fall into, a handful of a few buckets that are predefined, it doesn't matter. It's noise. So, but I believe that's something you also learn over time. Right? You don't just wake up thinking about that, because I certainly didn't.
How would you describe your leadership style?
Leadership style, lead from the front of the pack.
What do you mean by that?
It means that, I personally have the belief that, I'm not too good to take out the trash, sweep the floor. And so I expect the same of the team, but they also see me doing it, right?
Right.
So culture is a big thing in our company. We talk about it a lot. It's a huge component. If people aren't happy in their job and they're not seeing the leadership team, step it up.
So it sounds like you like everyone to have buy-in and be collaborative.
For the most part, when there's decisive action that has to be taken, which just happens in any business.
Yeah.
There's some decisions that just have to be made, because
people do have set roles.
People do have set roles. I mean, there's some crossover. Just how do we get the job done? May not be squarely in your wheelhouse, but can you tackle it? So, yeah.
Would you consider yourself an organized person?
I am very organized, I think. You can ask my wife. I'd say in most cases fairly organized.
So what methods do you use to stay organized in your business specifically?
There's 3 or 4 core systems that we use. I mean, we use Slack, I use Dropbox.
Explain how you use those. It's interesting to learn.
I'm a huge fan of Dropbox, in all honesty. I mean, it just makes my life easier.
To keep documents and different things organized?
Yep, exactly. And just constantly monitoring the numbers, through our own dashboard, and keeping my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the business and how we continue to grow.
And then what are a couple of the other ways that you stay organized?
Preparation.
We're picking your brain. We want to figure out how you did
it. Mental preparation. Before you actually go into the office, it's what am I going to accomplish today? What problems am I going to solve? Because I don't want to go in there and I don't want to just burn 3 hours, doing meaningless tasks. So think about, the 2 or 3 things that you need to conquer, and making sure you tackle those earlier in the day, as opposed to at the end of the day.
Yeah, it goes back to
prioritizing,
staying focused, knowing what you need to tackle first.
That's right.
So what would you say is your management style? Meaning, are you more of a delegator or do you micromanage?
Not a micromanager. I think people deserve autonomy. I mean, we think that we hire good people, so if we bring them in, it's giving them a chance to prove that they can deliver results and giving them guidance, but by no means looking over people's shoulder. Either you're delivering or you're not. That's part of a startup.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Business Rockstars. We're here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. I'm Alex Worley, joined by Joshua Manley. He is the CEO of ReplyBuy. Now, when it came to funding your business, once you knew that you had a great idea, you wanted to start this business, how did you get the money to do it?
Yeah, great question. Funding is always a challenge, right, with an unproven concept. So you are, at that stage, people are betting on the jockey, right? They're not betting on the horse. They believe in you. They believe that you can do it. So we went out through actually a former employee of a different company introduced us to part of the original crew over at YouTube, part of the founding team over there, employees 5 and 6. And so they immediately got what we were trying to do. And so that was the catalyst to start our fundraising process. Still was not easy. It's never easy.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is the biggest lesson you've learned throughout this roller coaster of entrepreneurship?
You never quit, right? I mean, if some days are better than others, but do not quit no matter what happens.
Yeah. And back to your employees, what's your take on hiring family and friends? Good idea, not a good idea?
Well, it depends on the person, right? It can be a good idea. Just realize that there could be consequences too.
Have you ever hired family or friends?
We've hired a friend. We've hired a friend, and a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, don't do it. Don't hire friends. Don't hire family. So I don't think I have a firm take one way or the other on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen it work
personal
before.
preference.
Yeah, personal
Seen it
preference,
work, seen it
individual
not.
basis. Have you ever had to fire a client before?
We have actually. Yeah, I won't, obviously
Yeah,
disclose
don't
who they
tell
are,
us
names
who,
and
but
names,
tell us a little bit about the situation where you said, you know what, this is detrimental to my business. We're going to cut the ties.
Yeah, I wouldn't say detrimental, but one thing we look at is every client, we consider that to be a partnership. So we both have skin in the game, whether we're going to make this partnership successful and whether we're both going to work together to ensure that it's successful. And if we're both not being held accountable in some sense, that probably won't work.
Yeah. And what is your number one tip for a aspiring entrepreneur who's watching?
Number one tip, surround yourself with credible people, with good people. Get sound advice. No one wakes up and just understands how to do this. They learn through the advice of others and people that they trust.
Who would you say are the biggest leaders on your team that you've surrounded yourself with that are just crucial to running your business?
Well, we have a tremendous board. We have a tremendous group of investors in New York, specifically like the Phoenix, Arizona area and the Bay Area. But core management team, I mean, my co-founder, Anthony Saya, he's fantastic. He's the best CTO I've ever worked with. Brandon O'Halloran, who runs sales and business development. Jen Kendall, who runs ops. We've got a great team in place. Feel really lucky.
And when it comes to growing and working with a new team, what's kind of your process for expanding?
Yeah, when we bring on a new client.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have best practices in place. We'll make recommendations and we'll set up, calls or regular standing call to evaluate where things are, what we could be doing better. And again, those best practices. This has worked. This has worked in other markets.
So have you had a mentor that's really, really helped shape the way that you run your business?
Yeah. I mean, Mario Martinez is definitely one of my best mentors, I'd say, in my professional career. I mean, he's got a sound mind, sound advice. So I give him a ton of credit.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much to my guest, Joshua Manley. He is the CEO of ReplyBuy. We are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. I'm Alex Worley, and this is Business Rockstars.